Fat Bald-Sicilian, FBS. I am very grateful for Fat Bald-Sicilian. I'll tell you why. FBS created more channels than Comcast. Okay, FBS endorsed a lot of channels. He created a lot of channels, and I bet he can't count how many channels that he has helped to get monetized, and I'm one of them.
You know, and then it's not like you have no violence on your record until you're 30, and then one night you just decide to go out and kill a cop. It doesn't happen like that.
Fabricio was always a tough kid. He was a tough kid. He had a nice punch. If you hit you, he would knock you the fuck out.
I already had the position. I don't want to say boss, but that's what I was. I had the position. I was made directly with New York, and I didn't have to answer to nobody in my area.
I didn't watch the show, so I didn't really understand the magnitude or, like, you know, how big this moment was.
But you know what? When De Niro asked him to let the old lady stay,
yeah,
you know, and she has to stay with the dog. Well, God, never started, huh? You know that scene? And he was like, "Stop."
Anytime I got to shoot at John's restaurant on East 12th Street, which was like a big mob hangout where like Joe the Boss Masseria would like hold court, and I got to work with Ivo Nandi, who played Joe the Boss. Those were some of my favorite scenes.
And the moment you walk in, I could recognize who's at the bar, who's sitting at the table, FBI. And this is the first time that I meet Sonny Franchese.
Matter of fact, outside the Bada Bing, Satin Dolls, we put a curtain in the parking lot. Everyone was wondering, why is that big curtain in the parking lot? We were rehearsing the hanging scene. I'm living proof, guys. I'm living proof. I mean, no, I'm no millionaire or nothing, but listen, look at my life 4 years ago. I was in a fucking hotel. I was, you know, selling crack. I was snorting coke. I was drinking myself to fucking death. I was literally taking bags full of Ativan just because I wanted to die in my sleep. I was all alone, you know, and now I'm here. I have my family. I have a little bit of money in the bank. I got everything I want. And I got you guys in this channel. So if I can do it, any of you can do it. Yizzo, what's up, everybody? I'm gonna have some fun today. We're all gonna have some fun. This episode of the Fat Bald-Sicilian Show should be taken as a warning to people who want to talk about me and who can't seem to keep my fucking name out of their mouth. I will expose you. I will expose you every which way. Now, the truth of the matter is, if JC hadn't talked shit about me on another content creator show recently, and you know, if he hadn't run his fucking mouth trying to say that a closed case can't be reopened and shit and all that nonsense he was spewing, I probably would have ignored this and let it go. I would have said, fuck it, let him do his thing. You know, but I've been meaning to get at him about that. And when I heard him that he was saying that, I didn't hear him with my own ears, but when I heard he was saying that, you guys were telling me, all that I could think was, this guy has never had a real court case in his entire fucking life. He's never been to jail. He doesn't know anything about the criminal justice system. Nothing except for stuff he reads and maybe stuff he learns from Gene and John. That was one stupid ass comment. A closed case can't be reopened. Well, I'll show you proof eventually that you're absolutely wrong. Okay? I'll show you proof. And I will show you maybe an email from an officer telling me that the charges will be refiled and all that. So as far as what's going on with that, I can't talk about that right now. I'll talk about it at a later date, but trust me, look it up. Okay. It happens. So, you know, since he talked that shit, I just been waiting. I haven't gotten around to him, but I figure with this is the perfect time. This is the perfect time for me to expose JC. And I'm going to go over a list of things with you that he said on the show. Yeah, but nothing, he never did any time. Closed cases can be reopened, says Jimmy Calandra, Bath Avenue story. Of course they can. But Jimmy knows because he's actually, gone through the court system. Chicago, I know about, his DUI and stuff like that. He never committed a serious crime that he was prosecuted for. Okay, he never did any real jail time. It's nonsense. I think he spent a couple of days maybe in the county once. It's complete and total bullshit. Now, you can go over his record later, Chicago, but I'll tell you what I found on his record today. Nothing. Literally not a single thing. Like I said, I believe he has the DUI, but no drug case whatsoever. No drug case. Let me make that clear. 0. Chicago, did you find a drug case? I don't think he did. All this stuff about being arrested and being an unindicted co-conspirator and RICO cases and shit. Get the fuck out of here, bro. This guy has been on here. No. This guy has been on here for years now, pushing his bullshit story, his ridiculous story about being in a cartel. And now he really, really, really took it to another level. He straight up said he was in the mafia numerous times. In the mafia, not associated. He said he was in the mafia. You don't believe me? Go back and listen. Well, most of you haven't seen it yet. He said, in the mafia, we treat drug addicts and junkies as scumbags. We see them as scumbags in the mafia. That's how we see them. That's what he was saying. That insinuates that you were in the mafia. And he said many, many things just like that. Many, many things implying that he was in the mafia. Okay. The cartel stuff we always laughed at, even when I was cool with JC. So, and this is why I think, he got pissed off at me. I was arguing with somebody on here. I forget who it was. And they said, do you believe JC was in a cartel? I said, of course not. Of course not. Do I think he dealt with cartels? No way. No. And if you noticed on that fucking interview, he tried to differentiate. Well, the cartels of 1992, 1993 are not the cartels of today, because he knows it sounds ridiculous. You know what I mean? He's spoken about, he lived in the barrio, this and that. Now he's talking about living in a mafia neighborhood on this show. Oh, in my neighborhood, the mafia. Come on. First of all, we know the history of the mafia in California. Okay. And there's not much of it. This guy, especially the last few decades, this guy has made up story after story, and he's a bullshitter, and he can't keep my fucking name out of his mouth. So, okay. So I did some research on, while you were talking live, I was doing research on the things you were saying. This guy talked about his addiction, and he said, well, something like they didn't know about my addiction, or he told them after he got help, some shit. I don't know what it was, because in the mafia, they kill people who are drug addicts. You're not in the mafia. You're not in the mafia. You think every associate, and you were never even an associate, gets killed because they do drugs? This is absurdity. This is ridiculous. This is some Danny Trio level. No, fuck that. Danny Trio is more legit than this fucking guy with his bullshit story. He's in the fucking mafia. He's with the cartels, the Mexican mafia, blah, blah, blah. Get the fuck out of here. For real? You're still pushing this? And look, I can't wait until you guys get over to that video to comment. Because this is going to be just like a lot of Chickies interviews and a lot of, Danny Trio, and he went on the Invest in Yourself dudes thing. And, people are going to call him out. And some people in that chat did already, or in the comment section. I'm sorry. Some people who don't even know him didn't buy it. There were some people who do know who he was, or who he is. And they all said he's a fucking fraud and a liar. Okay. People researched them. Now, I researched them today, and I'm telling you, he has no such drug case, nothing. It never happened. Okay. And if it did, all right, show it. Just show it, because in that comment section, he told somebody, oh, Soft White Underbelly is thorough. I showed them all my my paperwork, blah, 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 blah. I remember Ray Mundy saying that about Cinemills. I remember that exact same thing. How come you've been on here for years? You haven't showed us a single piece of paperwork? Nothing. What'd you get? You're talking about you got probation? Probation. And he acts like he's a big badass. I was on probation for, what was it? I don't even know. I forget the time frame he said. I was on probation. Oh, my God. You're involved in cartels. You're in the mafia. You got probation. Yeah, okay. All right. And he's talking. Here's another thing. Let me just point this out. Yeah, he's terrible. He's talking about, like, this is another reason you know it's bullshit. He's talking about getting drugs from marijuana only, okay, from the cartels, and I guess supplying the mafia and shit. And he's talking about these quantities that he's acting like it's some major fucking thing, like he'd be put away for life. He's talking about being on a train with 20 to 30 pounds. 20 to 30 pounds. Bro, when I was 17 years old, I was selling 10 pounds a week in a small suburban town in Pennsylvania. 10 pounds a week by my fucking self. 30 pounds. There's guys in New York City getting caught with 300 fucking pounds at a time. 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. I think the highest he went is 50 pounds. You needed a cartel to get 50 fucking pounds of marijuana? And that's your big crime? You get more for an ounce of coke than you'll get for 50 pounds of marijuana. Holy shit. I wish I would have taken notes. But again, I'm pressed for time. I got shit to do today. So I'm just going to try to go off memory, which never works well for me because my memory fucking sucks. But I can't wait till you guys go over and watch this. Okay. And I wish I would have listened to it 3 or 4 times in a row, at the very least, if I didn't take notes, you know, just to remember everything. But I'll tell you this. This is the main thing. I want to point this out. Okay. I was going to wait till later in the show to do it. But yeah, I was in the Yorkville cartel. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, I was in a cartel. A guy named Sean used to give me fucking 10 pounds a week. Yeah. You kidding me? That's the big cartel. This guy is, you know, let me put that off. I'm going to put it off a little bit because I don't want to, you know, I want to talk about some of the other things he said in this shit. He talked about at one point, and I forget the exact year, he got pulled over after he left some major drug lord's house or some shit. He gets pulled over. He had a meeting with 3 guys. He gets pulled over and he has no license, so they're going to tow his car. He talks the cop into allowing him to empty his trunk first. Yeah, no. Okay, no, not happening. And especially if you're suspected of anything. Somehow he takes money or some shit that he had stashed in the fucking trunk. He goes and makes a phone call on the payphone, leaves the bag next to the payphone. This is movie shit. This is fucking movie shit. He talks about being in Fresno County Jail and calling a cartel member. If you called a cartel member from a jail, they would cut you up into pieces and leave you scattered all over your fucking town, if not your state. Holy shit, he calls a cartel member from jail. And he's like, usually I wouldn't do that. Yeah, no, nobody would ever do that. A cartel. I have a feeling that the cartel member that JC speaks of is probably some white kid in the suburbs named Kyle or some shit. And I ain't talking about Lefty, but it could have been him. Cartel? He's like one of these guys that takes something so small, like he sold a bag of weed once, and turns it into, he had a drug empire where he worked with fucking cartels and supplied the mafia. The fucking mafia in the 90s. Yeah. That's what they're going to need. JC. Oh my God. He talks about when he'd meet up with people, when he'd have meetings, he would pull his shirt up and pull his pants down, and so would the other guys, so they make sure that they're not wearing a wire. Oh my God. At the most, okay, JC was a small time weed dealer. Just like, I don't know, probably 80 million white kids in this country were or are. You know what I mean? A small time weed dealer. I was selling 10 pounds a week and that's small fucking time. It's nothing. But he makes, that's like a huge thing to him. That's probably the most he did. He probably had some guy who sold him a pound at a time. He broke it down into fucking nicks and dimes and maybe sold an eighth or a quarter here and there. You know what I mean? And he thought he was balling. He had weed money, weed money. In the 90s, you're making what? I don't know. California, let's just say you're paying $800 a pound, maybe even $600 a pound. You make $1,000 on a pound. I mean, I know where I was, it was about 800 to 1,000. You get 1,600 if you're breaking up into ounces. 16 ounces, $100 an ounce. Now, California, it's probably even less, but you pay less. That's about it. You might like in a place like this, maybe in the 90s, 120 an ounce, something like that, if you're really beating people over the head. But the shit he's describing gets stupider and stupider as you go on while you watch it. You know what I mean? We didn't talk on phone. When we talked on phones, he says we had code words. We had code words where, we would say like, boy, 100 or 1,000 bombs dropped today or some crazy shit. You got to go back and listen to it. And he says we would like reference TV shows or something. What the fuck are you talking about? First of all, if you were dealing with a cartel, JC, or the mafia, or anybody highly connected, or any serious drug dealer, there would be no speaking on the phone, period, ever. He's it's like Casino. He's Joe Pesci, Robert De Niro in Casino. He's talking about sometimes we'd have the women talk to each other. What women, JC? We'd have the women talk to each other on the phone. So, they could, I have no idea. It seemed like they're innocent. Some shit. I don't know. Just have the women have the conversations. Let's throw them under the bus. Remember in Casino, though, the FBI can only listen for so long. If it's not crime related, they have to click off on the wiretap. So they would have the wives call each other and just talk about nonsense for a minute or so. That's what JC's describing here. Oh my fucking God. And I got some facts for your ass, guys. This is not just going to be my opinion. Stay tuned and donate if you can, because I got some other shit to tell you. Yeah, I know. I know. I don't know if you want me to read that, but I know. That's another thing. I want to make this clear. JC was born in 1975. Okay. And that's an important fact for you to know when I tell you certain things later. Important fact. Okay. I didn't do any shout outs, but whatever. Should I get to this yet? Because I could probably go on forever and ever and ever and ever. All right, yeah, let me just get to it now. I'm going to tell you this now. So, JC says, listen closely to what I'm saying, guys. Pay attention. JC says that, by the way, Joey Knuckles, $5. JC has some tall tales. He does. Thank you, bro. So JC says that at one point, and I believe it was like the early 2000s, he was part of something called Operation Green Speaker. Green Speaker. This was a DEA FBI operation, okay, in Northern California. And this is what he says. He was an unindicted co-conspirator, okay? And it was a RICO case, according to him. And he said the only reason that he was not indicted is because of that traffic stop where they didn't find anything on him. Therefore, it's exculpatory evidence because he was leaving this house. First of all, JC, let me take that apart for you. If you were leaving a known drug dealer's house, especially on the level you're talking about, and you got pulled over, you're getting searched. They don't give a fuck about you driving without a license, bro. They're not giving you a ticket. You're going to get fucking searched. Okay. There's no such thing as, because you're saying that traffic stop is proof. If that traffic stop is proof that you weren't involved, like you say, then that would mean that they suspected you before they even pulled you over. They saw you leave a house. They were following you. They pulled you over, and then they're going to let you empty the trunk and go about your merry way. Bro, you would have been fucking searched, because he says later that it was used as, that's somehow exculpatory evidence that since he got pulled over and he didn't have anything on him, he couldn't have been part of this case or involved with these drug dealers. Bullshit. You think the cops are going to say, oh, we pulled him over once, we found nothing, so he's good. Remove him from this case, this indictment. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Oh my God. I can't stand you fucking lying cocksuckers anymore. I can't stand you. Fucking bullshitter. Now, I also want to say, before I get to my main point here, last night, oddly enough, me and Jeff Nadeau were on here, and we were talking about Soft White Underbelly with the Whitakers and all that shit. And I said, I think he has some really good guests and stuff. And then I see this when I wake up today. I'm like, oh my fucking God. All right. So I was wrong. And somebody did text me earlier. We were talking about it. And they said, look, these Soft White Underbelly does not ask for all types of paperwork and proof. He does not. This is somebody who was involved with them. And he said, they pull, prostitutes and junkies off the street and interview them. He's right. You know what I mean? So no, JC left a comment. I showed paperwork, this and that, blah, blah, blah. I was with Freeway Ricky Ross's right-hand man, blah, 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 all this horse shit. Well, show us the fucking paperwork. How long you been on here? Show us the paperwork. Show us where you were involved in any case where you were even facing a substantial amount of time. Show us. Peter Piper, JC, unindicted co-conspirator like Whitey Bulger and Steve Flemmi on the horse race fixing case. He must have had a crooked FBI agent. Yeah, he must have, Peter Piper. Yeah. Fucking insane. So, all right. I'll say this, Soft White Underbelly just lost credibility, and they should be called out for interviewing this fucking clown. They absolutely should be. All right. JC, with this big case he's talking about, he says he was part of Operation Green Speaker. That was the case. He talks about a Georgia Tech football player getting caught up in it. I looked that guy up. His name is Ruben. I don't know if he pronounces it Houston or Houston. Okay, that was the guy's name. Now, I can't find anything as far as him being caught up in any DEA operation. He got caught with 98 pounds. Of course, according to JC today, it was 100 plus pounds, but what a surprise. I have to look further into it to see if he was part of any DEA operation. He might have been, but I highly doubt it. By the early 2000s, weed, Now, let me tell you something about Operation Green Speaker. It doesn't exist. It never existed. It's not a thing. It never was. It never took place. It never happened. Go look it up. Try to find Operation Green Speaker. Now, I'll tell you what there was. There was Operation Green Sweep in 1990, okay? That is pretty much exactly what JC described. Exactly. Humboldt County, all that shit. The area he was talking about there in the interview. That was Operation Green Sweep in 1990, which would have made JC 15 years old. That's Operation Green Sweep. There is no Operation Green Speaker. Now, there is something else. There was an Operation Green Acres. Now, that was around that time frame. You can't find anything on it for the most part. Okay. All I got And this is what the Google search turned up. When I went into the actual documents, I couldn't even find any mention of it, but it's so long, it would probably take me 3 days to read. This is from www.dea.gov. All this says is this 3-state surge dubbed Operation Green Acres resulted in the seizure of 1.09 million cannabis plants, 5,144 pounds of marijuana, and the arrests of. Now, I sat for 25 fucking minutes reading all this shit. It's a million different operations. It's a whole DEA, series of documents. I couldn't even find mention, but like I said, I'm sure it's in there somewhere because it's right here. Now, this doesn't even say what states. So I don't even know if California was one of them, Northern California, Humboldt County. I have no idea. Okay, but the one he described was Operation Green Sweep in 1990. I'm telling you, listen to his interview, then look up Operation Green Sweep. Let me do it for you. Operation Green Sweep. There we go. Operation Green Sweep was a series of drug raids conducted by over 200 United States Army soldiers, National Guardsmen, and federal agents in Humboldt County, California. The operation was the first time active duty troops were used to combat marijuana growing in the United States. The joint federal and state operation, led by the Bureau of Land Management, was centered around eradicating marijuana and removing agribusiness paraphernalia from the King Range National Conservation Area, federal land administered by BLM near Petrolia, California. Okay. Dates for Operation Green Sweep. November, that's odd. It says November, July 29. Maybe it meant November to July. I don't know. 1990 to August 9. It's confusing. It's in 1990, the whole thing. I don't know why it's written this way. November, July 29, 1992, August 9, 1990. Okay. So it took place in 1990. JC was 15 fucking years old. Oh, is that right, Dave? Yeah, I don't know nothing about that California shit, nor do I care to. Now, Operation Green Acres, apparently, from what I read there, it's they're talking about they seized tons of marijuana, not tons, but lots of marijuana. Okay. But when I went into the DEA documents, it appears that it was mainly centered around methamphetamine and Mexican cartels. Methamphetamine. So I'm going to do more research. I can't say I'm exactly right about Operation Green Acres. I have to read more. But the one he described, I'm telling you, is Operation Green Sweep. There is no Operation Green Speaker. It does not exist. It never did. So, if you were talking about Operation Green Acres, because that's the only one during that time frame, how do you fuck it up and call it Operation Green Speaker? This is a huge part of your life. Your life was saved by a traffic stop of all things. It's the only time in the world a criminal's life was saved, his freedom was saved by a traffic stop. Makes no sense, does it? But your life, your freedom, everything was saved by this traffic stop. And this was all during the time of Operation Green Speaker. You can't remember the name? You were an unindicted co-conspirator in a RICO case? And you can't remember the name of the operation? Jerry, I know you said it a few minutes ago, but Soft White Underbelly has been exposed, called out several times over the years for platforming guests who turned out to be total frauds. It's not a credible show. Good. I'm glad to know that. I didn't know that. That was the operation that took down all those pot farms. Which one, Green Sweep or Green Acres? Because like I said, I can't sit here and say I know a lot about Green Acres. But I'll tell you this, again, JC should know it's not Operation Green Speaker. That's not a fucking thing. This is bullshit. You know what I think, though? Honestly, I think he made it up. So he could just say, there was some operation going on that may have involved him. Or he may have been one of the targets of. But most likely, you know, he's using the wrong name to throw people off, or he's just describing an operation that really took place with the FBI and the DEA, but had nothing to do with him because, like I said, JC at most, I guarantee you, sold nickels and dimes. Okay. You should hear. Oh, Acres? Okay, War. You should hear. Was that in California? You should hear him talk about this 20, 30 pounds on a train, like as if he's carrying, you know, 70 pounds of fucking crack cocaine. That's what he's talking like. I mean, come on, bro. In the early 90s, let me tell you something. Now, if you're crossing state lines and shit, you can have a federal case. You could be all fucked up. But you get caught with 20, 30 pounds in the 90s, you're probably getting 11.5 to 23. I don't know how they do it in California. 1 to 2 years upstate, maybe. Maybe if you're really unlucky and you get screwed, a 5-year sentence, 5-year max. I don't even think you'd get that, especially if it's a first offense. And he's talking like as if, you know, he had a body in a fucking suitcase. You know what I mean? And oh my God, they might catch me. I can't seem to get a cigarette out of the pack. So let me see what you guys have to say. I remember the name of that operation that DEA High Intensity Drug Trafficking Task Force gave to the case I was on. Listen, I remember the name of a case I almost got caught up in, an operation. I believe it was, well, I'm not even going to say, but I remember the name. And no, I did not get caught up in it, but I had reason to believe I would be. You know, once I found out they were making all these busts, that they had this investigation going for so long. Okay, I had, you know, a bad feeling because everybody, you know, all the big dealers in York City and shit like that were getting caught up in this, and they were catching people with bricks and every fucking thing else. And some of those guys were giving up people above them and below them and all types of other shit. So, but I remember that name well. It's just like Tony Pizza. He don't remember what jail he was in. This idiot's talking about Operation Green Speaker. What kind of name would that be for a drug operation? Would they find your weed in a green speaker? I mean, what the fuck? No, not on this. He didn't, Maz Diggs. The retirement party the cartel had for him. Yeah. Yeah. They have a party for you when you leave a cartel. Yep. It's just you and one other guy and a gun and a bullet to the back of your fucking head. You know, something like that. Or you get caught outside somewhere and get machine gunned by 30 or 40 fucking people. A retirement party from the cartel. This guy, listen, he needs to be fucking called out. Seriously. This shit. And Soft White Underbelly loses all credibility, in my opinion. And anytime any of these people interview these frauds, they have to be made to know, you know, they have to learn that what you just did was a huge fucking mistake. Okay. And this guy is full of shit through and through. Unbelievable. But you know who got him on that show, right? Everybody knows. It's John and Gene, which I can't figure out for the life of me why they're friends with that guy. If I have a feeling if I asked either one of them, they'd probably just laugh and say, well, you know, it's, you know what I mean? And he was, you know, I think doing something with Cinnamills again, John and Gene. I think John and Gene are trolling him. I think they got him on there just so they could fucking laugh at his bullshit story. All right, Barry. Good to know. Look, I went all the way back up in the comments. What? Damn, I'm all right. I might have went too far behind. Don't be afraid to donate, people. Argo, I'm willing to bet JC went and hung around Skid Row waiting for Mark to come down there, looking for people to interview people. And JC said, hey, I'm Cartel Mafia. I'll pay you to interview me. I wouldn't doubt it. Cartel Mafia. He was a part of both. He was a part of a cartel and he was in the mafia. That's unprecedented. I don't think I've ever heard of such a fucking thing. Wow. What an accomplishment. 2 accomplishments. Meanwhile, you know, he's like the straight laced fucking, all-American white boy. Like he's talking. What did he keep saying that was driving me fucking crazy? Oh, and the guy's all that expression, like I told him this and he was all, well, like he kept saying, and he was all like, this is the corniest white boy shit I've ever heard. He was all, that's how he described somebody responding to him. And he was all, JC, you suck cocks. And I don't know. Fucking weirdo. He was high level. Yeah, he was high. I don't know what level he was on. I don't even know. I'm going to tell you the truth. I don't even know if I believe his bullshit addiction story. If you listen to him describe withdrawal and shit, it's like, I don't know, buddy. I really don't know. Sally Slickback, Soft White. Okay. Yeah, people keep saying the same thing. I know. D. Gainey, everybody in this chat needs to pull their pants down and prove they're not wired. For real. My God. Oh, my God. And the way he talks about himself, like he was this big deal. Meanwhile, he never mentioned anything about jail time or prison time. Know why? He never did any. Now, at the end, he mentioned something like, I was just so good I didn't get caught. Let me tell you what that is. That is what people say when they're trying to convince you that they were a major criminal. Okay. And you're asking, well, why didn't you ever get caught or do any time? I've heard that. I knew this guy, Bobby, at my last job. This guy, Bobby, was Malibu's most wanted type of dude. Always talked about his drug dealing and what a badass he was. And then he shows me his license to carry. And I'm like, hold on. You were this major criminal, but you have legal guns, and a license to carry, which is even harder to get. Okay. How's that possible? Oh man, I was just good at what I did, man. Never got caught. If you're a career criminal, you're going to get caught eventually. If you were a drug dealer for a long period of time, you're going to get caught eventually, or you did get caught at some point. Now, unless his fucking marijuana sales career lasted 6 fucking months, he'd probably have something on his record. I don't think he's a convicted felon. He talks about being a convicted felon, but one night he's on YouTube flashing guns, and I had him on my show after I squashed him, humiliated him in a debate. And I said, bro, how did you have those guns? And he said, oh, they were my roommates or neighbors or some crazy shit like that. And then I asked him, how do you come on YouTube holding guns if you're a felon? And he was like, oh, what are you fucking narking me out or some shit like that? Like, no real answer. I don't think he's a felon. Like I said, all I did is a simple background search today. And there's nothing. There's nothing. Like I said, I believe he got the DUI stuff, but that's another thing. He talks about that he took an Ambien, and you're supposed to wait 8 hours to drive, and he waited 7.5 hours, and he got a DUI. Shut up! Shut the fuck up! Come on, bro. Do they even test for Ambien? And this is what's he talking? 20 years ago or something? Do they even test for such a thing? Was Ambien even around back? Let's see. I was on Ambien for a month, and I think that was in 2008. So maybe it was. But you got a DUI because of Ambien. And if you would have waited a half hour longer, you wouldn't have gotten it. Come on, man. The fuck is going on here? My live stream is all fucked up. I don't even know how many people are fucking watching. 163. 163 watching. I mean, I'm a nobody, but I've shown FBS proof of my story and backed it up with facts. Yeah. Why doesn't Jeff Crow, JC, come on today and show paperwork that he was involved in a drug case? A serious, you know what I mean? Not like you got caught, with a fucking a gram on you and you got simple possession. Show a proof of a drug case you were involved in at any time during your lifetime. Please. Show us proof that you knew Joe Donato or you were in any way, shape, or form involved in the mafia or a cartel. Show us. Isn't it funny that JC was a Mexican cartel / Italian mafia man? He actually referred to himself during this interview as a marijuana mafia man. Yeah. Okay. So imagine this guy was a major drug dealer in Northern California. He Fresno to be exact, I think. He was in the mafia and in a Mexican cartel, and there's no record of any of this. There's no article where he's named in an investigation or named as an unindicted co-conspirator or anything. Nothing. Isn't that amazing? You know what that reminds me of? Most of the people who come on here and say that they were something they weren't. There's nothing. Not a thing to prove what you're talking about. This is YouTube where anybody could be whatever the fuck they want. That's the problem. Because you could come on here and just make up a bullshit story. You know what I mean? We see people do it all the fucking time. If there can't really be proof that you weren't part of something. There can only be proof that you were. You know what I'm saying? So you could just sit here and say, oh, yeah. I knew this one. I knew that one. I was involved in this and that. But, I never got caught. So there's no proof of it. Well, yeah, come on, man. Not if you're a mafia man / cartel member. Mafia man. He called himself a marijuana mafia man. Oh, for the love of Christ. Let me get down here. JC. Oh, I read that one. Hey, now, what's up, bro? Listen up, fucko. JC is the biggest fraud. Guy's a fucking dork. That's the perfect word for JC. And everybody always knew that. And, with the exception of one or two people from MobTube and a bunch of people who have never seen JC in their lives, there's people calling him out. There's a lot of them. It's people who know him from MobTube. You know what I mean? Calling him out. There's just a couple of people, I'm not going to name their names, but, they like JC on here. And they kind of, congratulated him or gave him props, whatever. Nobody from MobTube was like, yeah, man, this guy's legit. Nobody. Check the whole comment section. The people, this is fascinating. This goes to show how stupid people are. How easily people can be conned. Most of those comments are like, man, this guy's legit, man, this guy's real, man, this guy's proof that it's not like what you see in the movies, meaning like the way he talks and speaks, that's how the real guys are. It's not how they portray them in movies. People are suckers, man. I swear to God. Now I see how they can get conned by like Trump and politicians and stuff. You just believe whatever the fuck you hear. They're looking at this cornball on Soft White Underbelly, and they're like, man, this guy, I can listen to this guy's stories for days. These are real comments. But I'm sure as MobTube people go over and check that interview out, that comment section is going to change a lot, I'm sure. Peter Piper, JC used his antennas to trick the law he learned from El Chapo and other cartel heavies. Yeah, well, I'm going to tell you something about that antenna business. Let me look this up real quick. Let me get down here. As far as no hunting, no weapons, permits found, voter registration, lifestyle data, corporate filings. All right, there is. I won't mention the company, but there is like an antenna thing, business, whatever. Only in 2004. In California, that's it, 2004, period. It says the name of the place he worked for. I don't think it was his business. 2004. Now, this is very important. And yes, I have the right guy. Trust me. I'm 1,000,000% fucking positive. I want to show you something. Let me do this. I want to crop this a little bit. Hold on. All right. Like I said, I believe, Chicago has, proof that he did something, some stupid bullshit crime. But this is what it says on the background check app that I use. All right. Now, if he had a serious case where he was convicted of a felony, it would be on here. Some stuff, if it's old and it's nonsense, it won't show up. I already know that from experience. That's why I said I'm sure Chicago has something that's just bullshit. But any type of felony drug case, like he claims to be a convicted felon, I'd like to see proof that you've been convicted of a felony, JC. I'd like to see proof of that. Sally, $2. Hi, all listening, but not in chat. Thank you, Sally. Look, I'm providing you guys with all this great information and no donations. How heartbroken should I be? It's fucking sad. Guess people don't really care too much about JC. Musclehead Gene Bro do a stream and not even Walt Disney could make up the stories they tell. Well, Gene Borello's legit. I was about to say Green Sweep took place in 1990 and was massive. There's no Operation Green Speaker that I could find. It never existed. And there's two options here. Either he made up the operation, so once again nobody could find it. You know what I mean? And he could just insist that it existed and it really happened. Or he tried to include himself in this bust, this whole series of busts, this operation, and he forgot the name because he's lying. You know what I mean? He's lying. And when you lie, you forget shit. Soft White Underbelly had Raymundi on? Oh, I didn't know that, Casey. If I would have known that, I would have never said what I said last night. That was, wow, look how far behind. Come on, Chris, you jackass. Let me get back through here. JC is so full of crap. LOL, anyone who believes him is a moron. Yes, absolutely. And nobody on here, on either side, you know who was calling him out in Soft White Underbelly's chat? MRE. Go look at it. Go look at it. Anybody who knows him from MobTube was saying that he's full of shit. You could see the comments. There's one guy who said if you watch any mafia stuff on YouTube, MobTube, whatever, you'll see that this guy's been telling tall tales for a long time. So, Sean Landon Clark, I lived in Fresno for years, own a business there and own property there too. JC and I are close in age and went to Fresno State around the same time. I smoked a lot of weed, never heard of him. No. And I'm going to tell you another thing that this could be true, but I see it as bullshit. He said that when he got put on probation in the 90s, there was a stipulation that he had to go to college. Now, I'm going to tell you why I don't believe this. First of all, I've never heard of such a thing. Could it have been because of his his own individual situation? Maybe they did it for whatever reasons they had regarding him. I don't know. Like, in other words, it's not a common thing. But a lot of people just don't have the means to go to college. So, and a lot of people on probation, are high school dropouts and every fucking thing else. They can't even go to college if they want. So, they can't even go to college if they want to. I don't believe probation forced him to go to college. It's just it's a ridiculous stipulation. They cannot tell you. They could tell you you must hold a job, you must keep a stable address, you must refrain from certain activities and substances, but they can't tell you got to go to college. They cannot tell you that. I don't believe it for a second. Look at this. My bro, Gene Borello, is the hottest commodity in the mob genre today, and I'm definitely in the top 10 now. He's putting himself on the same level as A-Light and Gene Borello and stuff. Top 10, he means like, obviously mob affiliated people on YouTube. And stop sweating. This is the hanging on to somebody's fucking coattails. This fucking my boy Gene Borello is the hottest commodity in the mob genre today. Yeah, that's Gene. That's not you, bro. Everybody's always, I told you, everybody needs a leader here. Everybody's got a fucking, they need somebody to, like, he wouldn't have been on Soft White Underbelly without Gene and John. There's no fucking way. There's no way he'd be talking to Cinnamills or any fucking one. Nobody takes him seriously. So, you're riding Gene's coattails. You're talking about fucking, you're not even, you can't even brag about yourself. My bro Gene Borello is the hottest commodity in the genre today. And I'm definitely in the top 10 now. So, bro, you need Gene to do all this shit for you. You got to attach yourself to somebody to be somebody. It's fucking pathetic. There's so many of them on here. Oh, God. They're nobody without their leader, or they got to attach themselves to somebody who counts so they could try to make themselves relevant. Big Vic 1965. What's up? Wait a minute. I didn't even read the rest of it. Hold on. That might be a gem. They also salute to John A-Light and Mike Dowd. They also were on Soft White Underbelly, and the fans are all saying us three did the best job in the channel's history, as has Mark, the gentleman who runs the channel. I got into mob stuff and addiction issues and changing my life for the better. Yeah, no, that's going to change. Bro, people don't know you. They're stupid, naive people. Half the country is stupid and naive. They don't know their ass from a fucking hole in the ground. They believe whatever they hear. Now that people know that you're on there, people who know you, things are going to change quickly. I assure you. John A-Light was really, an associate and was really involved in mafia shit. Gene Borello, same fucking thing. He's a real dude. You are not. And just because you're friends with them does not make you what they are. Maybe that's what it was. Was this an April Fool's joke? I don't know what he says here. 1st April, the only day of the year that people critically evaluate things they find on the internet before accepting them as true. I'm assuming, that's somebody else that wrote that, I guess. I don't know, but nah. What do you mean? I do it every fucking day. Oh, maybe that was a comment. Is that maybe that's a comment to him. No, I have no idea what the fuck that's about. I have no idea. Ronin 456, yeah. Yeah, Maz Diggs, I know. Trust me. Bro, that's exactly what I was thinking when I was seeing them. You got to see these comments. The first thing I said is, oh, that's JC, that's JC, that's JC, that's JC. Yeah, Argo, I believe it. Oh, my God. His antenna business address is about a half a block away from a beauty salon I own. Is that right? Interesting, Shaw Landon Clark. Who is Jumbo Clit? What the fuck is that? Jeff Crow, you're getting it good later. Dork, LMFAO. What time, Chicago? I can't miss this one. Please tell me what time. I will drop it for you later, bro. I have the paperwork. This is all domestic crap. Oh, well, okay. It's not hard for me to believe JC scammed. Soft White Underbelly, the Dan Whitaker scammed him out of $200K. Good point. Is it 506? Joseph Montanero, $5. Thank you, brother. If I didn't already thank you. JC took my big mama's rabbit ears and he bent them right to the what the fuck? Joseph Montanero, it's true. I stole a car when I was 16. They sent me to Harvard, changed my life. Yeah, I'm sure. Casey Robinson, that's like the bullshit Ray Mundy said. They drop a murder charge if you join the military. Exactly. Come on. They made you go to college. Show us that paperwork. You know what I mean? You got to have tons of paperwork, man. You are a major fucking criminal. And this is the guy who's giving legal advice on Gunsmoke Show, or you know, as you know, he refers to them. How do I put this? I can't even talk. He, I can't think of the words I'm looking for. Sometimes I blank out. I'm pretty a well-spoken guy, but he says these things that he presents as fact. There you go. That's what I was trying to say. Like a closed case can't be reopened. Fucking moron. Once I can, I'll show you fucking proof. I will show you proof. But people in this chat have already seen it. There's some of them that can tell you that they've seen proof with that particular case. It happens all the fucking time. It's not the norm. Usually when a case is closed, it's closed. But there's many cases where they're reopened. Many. Stupid ass. But how would you know that? As soon as I heard you were saying that on his show, I was like, but this fucking guy don't know anything. He's just talking. He has no experience with the criminal justice system. No real experience. He doesn't know shit. Watch Judge Boyd of Texas. She says to some probation people that they need to show proof of job or enrollment in a trade or college within 30 to 60 days. But that is Texas. Yeah, a job, or they settle for a job. They can't say you have to go to college. They can't. They could say you have to have a job. They can't say you have to go to college. You know how many fucking busts I had? I had twice the criminal record when I was a juvenile that I do as an adult. Okay. And I some serious shit. Some bullshit too. I was on probation my entire fucking youth. Pretty much. Not to mention my 20s. And yeah. I was in trouble in high school. They were going to put me in some fucking, I think it's called Manitou. It's like some school for bad kids. I don't fucking know. They weren't telling me I better go to college, though. I'll tell you that much. Jason B, he is. He actually is. I was a low-level irrelevant dealer caught in Operation White House. I think I need more clout, so I was the kingpin charged in Operation White Horse. There you go. Moonlight 62, what's up? Doubt is as real as it gets. Come on, man. Emma Barton, hey. Oh, JC Jumbo Clit, gotcha. Nice. Boy, he's not a popular guy, is he? 8 my time? All right, let me go. Can I find it? Is there any way I could find it on my phone right now? Which channel is it on? The first we'll start with Chicago Muscle. I'm going to set a reminder. Wait a minute. Oh, really? Earlier today? All right. It doesn't appear to be on Chicago Muscle channel. Can you drop a link in the chat, please? Oh, there it is. big gay pizza party. Right, notify me. All right, good. I'll get a fucking reminder now. Ah, there's the link, guys. Click on it so you can watch Chicago's show tonight. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. Yeah, it's going to be good stuff. What's an appeal then, you doofus? Yeah, no shit. They're fucking stupid. We get through here. Oh, look at that. Antonino, $20 for let's get the month off to a good start match. Thank you, Antonino. Now, as you guys know, Antonino is one of the biggest sponsors of the show. So when he says match, I got to go to my fucking storage tonight. I decided to put it off. Well, honestly, I didn't sleep last night. So I was in bed very, very late today. I couldn't sleep. I don't know why. It's fucking miserable. So I got up late, so I couldn't go earlier. So I got to go to my storage and start digging. CM, didn't JC say something about snipers and dueling you a while back? He's a weird dude, man. Just the fact that he thinks people will believe this shit. Going to college used to be a metaphor for going to jail. Yeah, but not in his case. They would have just put him in jail. Oh, shit. I can't wait for Chicago's show because he has more than I do. I never cared enough. JC is nobody. You know what I mean? Even with Gene Borello, his channel sucks. I mean, I can't even believe you could do a show with Gene Borello and not get any real views or subscribers. How is that even fucking possible? You know how bad you have to be at this to not be able to have Gene carry you right through to some sort of success? But the fact that you need Gene to carry you is weak. I hate people like that, man. I just have no respect for them. Just be you. Come on here, use your own abilities, and see where you can go. But JC has been trying that for 2.5 fucking years. And it's always been with the exception of maybe Lefty and Stacks, been the worst channel as far as everything goes. And you know, I was never anything but, after we became cool, I was never anything but nice to this cocksucker. I didn't say a bad word, even when they said that he was talking that shit on Gunsmoke show. I was like, okay, I'll get to it sooner or later. But I really kind of just let it go. Then I saw this shit today, and I'm like, all right, I can't let this go because no matter who you are, if you're a bullshitter, I'm going to call you out. I'm going to call you out. That's what I do here. And you're a bullshitter. But your best bet is to shut the fuck up about me, bro. Because I'll dedicate my life to fucking exposing you to be a clown. Without a doubt. Pizza? Good. Can't wait. All right, guys. I guess I'm going to roll then. I got to go do my shit. Thank you for everything. If need be, I'll even let FBS speak to people in my past, damn poser. No, you don't even have to. I already believe you. Dave, me too. All right, thanks for everything. I got to go do some work now. I love you all, and until next time,